I feel like the energy is relatively quiet, at least for the divine feminine. It does not mean that the divine feminine is not going through her own stuff. It does not mean she's not processing, but I feel like the energy is relatively quiet. Now, that being said, I also feel like she is processing a lot. I feel like she is, there's a lot of nostalgia. I did a written channeling a couple of days ago on the Divine Masculine. I shared a little bit about my own personal experience with a post for, and I think that could be reflective of the Divine Feminine. And I think that a lot of you responded to that, saying that you were experiencing the same thing, where there was a lot of nostalgia that was coming up, some inner child healing. But more than inner child healing, it was inner child reparenting. For myself, I had a caboodle when I was a kid, and I found myself really nostalgic for that caboodle and wondering why the hell did I get rid of it and crying about it. And then I was asking myself, I'm almost 40 years old. Why the hell am I crying about this damn caboodle? Because it wasn't the thing, it wasn't the object, and it wasn't even what it represented. My inner child popped up and she said it wasn't an attachment to the object and it wasn't nostalgia for the actual physical thing itself, but it was that when I got rid of it, I wasn't getting rid of it because I didn't need it anymore, because it wasn't wanted. I got rid of it because I felt like I didn't need it as an adult. I was trying too hard to be an adult. I was trying too hard to be something that I'm not. And by which I mean I said it better in the post. You can find it on my community tab here. Um, I'll link it in the description box if I remember. But it was more along the lines of I felt like I was too grown up to need it anymore. You know, sometimes you get rid of your childhood, you get rid of your toys and things because you feel like, oh, I need to be a certain way or act a certain way. Even along the spiritual journey, you can deny certain aspects of yourself. I know in the beginning of my ascension process, I denied some aspects of myself. I thought I needed to, deny the fact that I love hockey. I thought I needed to deny the fact that I like to wear just jeans and cardigans. You don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to deny things of yourself that you like. You don't have to deny the version of yourself of who you are as a human incarnate. You don't have to deny the human aspects of yourself, but you can encompass all of that into your spiritual journey, into your spiritual being, because spirituality is personal. Spirituality is not being one thing or another. We're going to be doing a sacred channeling. I have a feeling I've been getting that energy for a while now to talk about what is spiritual ego versus what is spiritual embodiment. And spiritual embodiment is about understanding that yes, you can love hockey, and yes, you can love Broadway musicals, and yes, you can wear cardigans and sweaters and jeans and sneakers and t-shirts and whatever else it is. Or you can wear a tie-dye, you can wear, linen, you can wear whatever it is that you want to wear. You can listen to the music that you want to listen to, whatever it is, as long as it's authentic to you. It doesn't have to adhere to a certain paradigm, whether that's a spiritual paradigm or another paradigm. It doesn't have to adhere to a certain set of rules, even in spirituality. Spirituality should not have a certain set of rules. Spirituality is authentic to you. So, that being said, what I realized was I had denied certain aspects of myself, whether that was the spiritual journey or whether that was growing up. And throughout the past couple of years, I've just been reclaiming that. And it's through this embodiment of my own spiritual essence, it's through this understanding of who I am as a soul that I'm able to fully claim these aspects of myself and enjoy life much more fully in its richness. When I go to hockey games, I get to enjoy the companionship and the connections that are built with our community around us and the friendships that are formed, as much as I love the game itself and the sportsmanship that's displayed in the game itself. Um, when I listen to musicals and stuff like that, I love musicals. I get a lot through musicals. I'm able to go into the depths of the human emotion that is the human experience, but understanding it from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, from a spiritual perspective. And that is true for me. Whatever it is that you love, whatever it is that you enjoy, it's an aspect of yourself. And you don't deny aspects of yourself, but you understand it from a different version or a different point of reference now through your spiritual awakening, through your spiritual awareness. There's a different level of understanding. And so my inner child said, don't deny that aspect of yourself. You kind of gave that caboodle away because you thought you didn't need to be a kid anymore. And I feel like some of that innocence is coming back, where I'm not denying her anymore. Um, I'm not, I'm also not allowing her to be devalued. There were instances where I had to stand up for myself and I had to say, don't speak to me like that, especially to loved ones. Don't speak to me like that. And I could see that it was old programming that was running through them, and it stops here. You're the generational cycle breakers. You are the ones who break the patterns, and you do that by being true to yourself. And the more that you're true and authentic to yourself, and that could be however it is that you express yourself in that true authenticity, not because you need to um because again a certain set of rules or because of a certain image that has to be displayed, but because of who you are. However it is that you embody that, who you are, that's what it's all about. That's what this ascension is about. It's about getting to the core of who you are, and that is part of the truth that's revealed, is who you are in that spiritual essence, in that spiritual nature, from that higher frequency. When we say truth revealed, we mean higher understanding of life, higher understanding of spiritual laws, higher understanding of your true essence. You see things from a higher perspective, from a new shift in consciousness. That's what the ascension journey is all about. And so you are also allowing yourself to express yourself within that embodiment. So I feel like that's a lot for the divine feminines. The divine masculines might be mirroring that. I haven't been getting a lot for the divine masculines lately, and I feel like that's by divine purpose as well. I feel like the divine feminines are not only going through their own process, although it does not feel heavy for the divine feminines. There's still a lot that they're processing, but it doesn't feel as heavy as it had been in the first maybe a couple of years of their journey. This feels almost like a natural process of evolution of their own embodiment, their own sacredness, where they're really stepping into their true authenticity and embodying that authenticity and not allowing other people to devalue that or not allowing other people to deny that for them. And that's reflected because they're not denying that about themselves. And I feel like the divine masculines might be reflecting that in a little bit, mirroring that in certain ways. However, again, I feel like the masculine energy is mostly quiet for the divine feminine. Quiet in the way that you're still feeling the energy of each other, and there feels like there's a missing of each other. I feel like the divine masculine is really trying to call the divine feminine in, really trying to manifest her, and the divine feminine is feeling that call, but she's still holding into her boundaries. She's still um, really strong within herself and saying, yes, I will come towards you as you come towards me. Energetically, we're speaking. Energetically, I will come towards you as you come towards me. But this will only be accepted, this will only be allowed if you are in your integrity, if you are in your authenticity, if that mask has fallen off. And I feel like that mask has been coming down for the divine masculine. So to recap everything, I would recommend you guys checking out the previous Sacred Union energy updates where we talk about the divine masculine, divine feminine. I would also recommend you check out the community tabs or the posts on Instagram. You can just do a search around this date for that, because we have been channeling a lot for the divine masculine, divine feminine, and what they have been going through and why the energy might be what it is right now. We're going to do a little bit about current energy today, but I just wanted to recap a little bit about what has been going on. It does feel like there is a new level that is approaching. I've been getting the analogy or the metaphor, the message is the right word, that there is a bridge that is being built energetically in the higher realms. We've been channeling for the past couple of weeks, especially, that these sacred unions are coming in. It might not be how you anticipate it, may not even be with whom you anticipate it. For some of you, everybody's path is a little bit different. We've talked about that in the past as well. But these sacred unions are coming in. I've also been getting the energy, and we talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago as well, that these sacred unions were meant to come into full form around 2020, 2021. We have been channeling back then messages that we're channeling now again, energy that's coming back up from 2 years ago. I feel very strongly like timelines had been hijacked, or Sacred Union energy had been hijacked, collectively. And I feel like collectives, timelines, sacred unions kind of got off track, because I feel like maybe the counterparts kind of got off track in some way. Maybe by collectively pushing the energy away, or denying connections, or denying aspects of self, or whatever it was. There might have been circumstances. This was collective, though. It wasn't just, your individual partnerships or your individual journeys. This was collective. It feels really strongly like there was a collective hijacking, and a lot of that, I don't talk usually about that, but there is a spiritual, how do I say this? I don't want to use the word warfare. I guess that's the only way to put that. When these counterparts come together, your union is so strong, it's so powerful, that it has a ripple effect, because your love is unconditional, and this planet has not seen unconditional love. And they're actually having me revise that statement, because I'm getting Yeshua's energy come through. It's not that this planet has not seen unconditional love, is what they're saying. It's that they had not accepted unconditional love. I'm getting Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and their sacred union, Isis and Osiris, other twin flame ascended masters, coming through, kind of stepping up. It's like they're showing me ancestry. It's almost like lineage. It's almost like along the lines way back in history. It has not been accepted. It has not been well received on this planet because of the dense energy of this planet that so many of the collective hold unconsciously. And that is programming that repeats itself. And so this is why it's so important at this time, because we're at a time of crucial change for the planet, for the collective consciousness. And they're bringing me back to 2012, and that's when this didn't begin in 2012, but that's when a monumental shift happened. And we've been seeing monumental shifts ever since. And what they're saying is, because of the unconditional love that is held between counterparts, and you can feel this in your connection, you can feel this within yourself. And that's what this journey really opens you up to. It opens you up to the unconditional love. I don't talk about the physical relationships, the 3D so much on this channel. I've never been guided to, because it's so much beyond the physical 3D relationship. It's hard to understand that when you're first going through this journey, because the physical 3D is all you know. And then you're activated, even if you've gone through a spiritual awakening before, even if you know that there's more beyond the 3D, when it comes to actually relationships with other people, when it comes to connections with other people, it goes much deeper. And so even that goes much deeper. And so when you have this sacred connection with someone, when you are activated with that person or with someone, you begin to recognize and go through your ascension process. It's a new layer of awakening. It's like ascension, I always say, is a whole other ball game. You can go through many levels and many layers of awakening. You don't just have one spiritual awakening in your life. You have many levels and many layers. But when you're activated to ascension, it's a whole other ball game. You're going deeper, you're going faster. You are going higher in frequency, because you're going deeper within yourself, than you've ever expected, than you ever experienced. And so you awaken up to new aspects of what is connection, what is relationship. And so the relationship, the 3D, marriage, commitment, family, children, whatever it is that you want in your physical human experience, is an expression of that higher conscious energy. It's just an expression. Your physical world, your physical experience is an expression of you. It's an expression of, it's the experience, is what they're saying. The expression and the experience of the energy that you're containing, the energy that you hold within, the consciousness that you hold within. And so when we're talking about sacred unions, your relationship, your physical relationship with your partner, will be a reflection, an expression of the energy and the consciousness that you're at. And so if you're pushing it away or denying connection, then there's still some wounding, there's still some trauma, some patterns, some programming. If you are embracing the sacred union with your partner, as is happening now, then you are embracing unconditional love. You're receiving unconditional love. And I feel like sacred union is part of the collective consciousness again, from 2 years ago, we're coming back around. It's like there's this big reset that's been happening because that unconditional love is so necessary at this time for the healing of the collective consciousness. You have your individual journey, you have your soul group, your soul family, we've talked about in the collective reading. We have the collective of those who are sacred partners, twins, sacred unions, etc. And then we have the global collective. It just kind of expands outwards, right? So it has a ripple effect. Your work individually, the healing work that you do on yourself has a ripple effect on your soul family and your blood family and the people that you interact with, the group that you are part of in your physical human experience. And that has a ripple effect on the collective that you're a part of as far as your ascension. And that has a ripple effect on the global ascension, on the planet as a whole. It all ripples out. And that has an effect, as we channeled a long, long time ago, on the universe as a whole. So I feel like there has been kind of a hijacking with regards to sacred unions, by which I mean it's almost like we were on course and then we got off track. And whatever the reason for that, I've gotten understanding of that, but I can't say too much on that because I just don't know for sure. But I feel like there was some kind of energetic hijacking, and it feels like it just got off track, and now it's like you're back on track. There's been this reset, and just allow yourself to trust that path. Allow yourself to have faith in where you're headed, even if it looks completely different than what you had anticipated. Maybe it's a different partner. Maybe it is different experiences. Remember that you are different. Your consciousness has shifted into higher frequency. You shifted into higher consciousness. And so because of that shift, now your physical experience is going to be different. And I feel like even though we got off track as far as unions, I feel like it was all to come back around for the purpose of your growth, for the purpose of deeper levels of healing, deeper levels of growth, to really get into alignment with your soul's core, with your soul's truth. That's on the individual level. On the collective level, there's more, but I'm not going to get into that today. So I hope that makes sense. Let's get into the reading. I want to use this deck for some reason. So we're just getting back on track. There was this shift in energy, got off track, and now it feels like the bridge is being built again. Again, because what we are channeling now is the same energy or similar energy to what we were channeling 2 years ago. And it's almost like in those 2 years, there was this great pause. There was this great collective just timeline shift is all I can say. Just timeline shift. And it's almost like we needed to go, it's like we had to go on a detour through that timeline shift to come back to this. That detour is for a purpose too. So don't be unkind to yourself or lack compassion for yourself or be hard on yourself for the detour, especially if you experience a detour in your own personal physical life. That detour was for a purpose. That detour was so you could understand more about yourself, to grow more in yourself, to learn more about unconditional love. So I'm just going to say it like this. Collectively, it feels like there was an attempt at hijacking timelines, at kind of circumventing unions from the higher perspective. However, it's almost like spirit continued to guide you. And while you might have experienced upendings in your life or tower moments and upheavals and like your life got turned 180 upside down, that was actually a detour. Spirit was guiding that detour to get you back on track to where you were actually continuing to still go. I'm having a really hard time articulating this because there's a lot of information and energy here and I don't know how to articulate it. So you're walking along a path. Collectively, we're doing this collectively, but you experience this within your own individual journey. Collectively, we're walking along a path. There was a huge shift in collective energy that was meant or tried to hijack this union, try to hijack your soul's purpose and path that got you off track. And Spirit was like, no, 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 that's not allowed. This is still meant to be. Not just your union as in with another person, your union with yourself, union with the world, your connection to yourself, the collective energy. And so what happens is it's almost like the timeline split, and Spirit has been guiding us through the detour to get us back to where we were always meant to go. That's what I'm trying to say. Spirit has been guiding you back to where you were always meant to go. You might have just been experiencing upheaval. You might have been experiencing, like I said, tower moments, life turning 180 upside down. But you're still where you're meant to be. And you're still where you're always meant to be heading. You just have to release the resistance to it. And just have to trust that path and trust where Spirit is guiding you, because Spirit, your soul, is always guiding you in the right direction. The hijacking does not win. The dark does not win. The light always wins. Always, always, always. So for you and your partner, it might have looked like complete upheaval. It might have looked like complete tower moments, 180s. It might have looked like a complete clusterfuck, to be honest, in the physical 3D. But you've always been on that path, and you always will be on that path, and you always will receive that union. And that's why union energy is coming through again, is because you're back on track. You're back on track. I'm going to talk more about that in upcoming channeling. That was unexpectedly channeled right now. So as far as like shared right now, I didn't expect to get into that today, but that's what's been coming through. And just know that you're back on track. Know that your unions are back on track. It might not look like you thought it would, but that's where you trust in yourself, in God. That's where you trust that if you've been called to the sacred union path of ascension, you're called to sacred union. You're called to sacred union.